Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. Lord Tremendous of the Tomb Kings, hell yeah, versus the Coven of the Vampire Counts. This is another new, well, he's not a new player, but he's semi-new to the Vampire Counts, or just starting to back up. I think he's played him in the past. He's a long-time player. He's bounced from army to army, and this is the same guy that, if you remember, way back when he played the My Little Pony army against me as Bretonians, and actually won, which still kind of sits sour with me, I won't lie to you. But he has himself some vampire counts now, and he wanted a piece of the Tomb King, so I gave it to him. Sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this fight went.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and I haven't changed it up really at all, just simply because I like the way it's working. I have my Tomb King, Bone Lord Tremendous. He's got the Sword of Antiheroes, Armor Silvered Steel, and a Dawnstone. And then I have my Lich High Priest, Queen Elizabeth. She is a level 4 wizard, Staff of Sorcery, and Alora Nehakhara. My hero choices are a Necrotech, Dark Vincent with the Dragon Helm and the Iron Curse icon, and a Lich Priest, Sinister Jeffrey, who's a level 2 wizard, Dispel Scroll, and Alora Light. My core choices are a unit of 58 skeleton warriors with full command, light armor, and shields, 14 skeleton archers with full command, 3 chariots with banner musician, and banner of eternal flame. My special choices are 6 Necropolis knights with banner musician, 3 Sephiroth stalkers, and my rare choices are a Necrolith Colossus with extra hand weapon, a Hyro Titan, Nad the Protector, Screaming Skull Catapult with no upgrades, and a Casket of Souls, which I actually enjoy using. I did not get my opponent's list. He was putting it together on pen and paper. You know, as I got there, it was really hard to read, so I didn't even bother taking a picture of it. And here are my spells. I got 2 from Light, I got Spirit Leech, which goes on the Titan, and then I got 4 from the lore of Tomb Kings. Here's deployment, and I went on a little bit of a denied flank situation, just mostly out of curiosity. When he started deploying, the first thing that he deployed, if I remember correctly, were his ghouls, which are way over on the right side, so I kind of thought that's what he was going to do. So I went over to the left, and I just kind of turtled up a little bit there. And as you can see, my plan here was, if anything got close to my Tomb King, my Hierophant, or anything like that, the snakes and the skeletons were more than willing to jump into anything he could throw at me. The 2 giants are on the hill, kind of defending the Casket of Souls and the catapult. And then my chariots are just daring anything to get close. Because I was kind of using my Casket of Souls as bait. I knew he was coming after it, that's why I figured his Coven and his Terrorgeist and his Black Knights were way over there on my right flank, his left. And then that unit of Knights in the middle there, those are Hex Wraiths, and I didn't really know where they were going. But my priority here was use Shem's Burning Gaze, which I had on both my, my level 2 Lich Priest and on my Titan, to try to take out those Hex Rays. Once they were dead, I would deal with other things, because he's got a unit of skeletons with a bunch of Banshees up front, and a Vampire, and a Necromancer. Yeah, I couldn't get a hold of the damn unit, but I could try to get a hold of everything else. It was just priorities. Take out the Ethereal Hex Rays, work on the Terrorgeist, maybe deal with the Coven Throne. I mean, I have the Catapult, I have the Casket, I have the Magic Missiles, they are undead. I had a plan. I don't know. Well, you'll see how good it worked out. Here's my opponent's center, which from left to right in the back there is his unit of ghouls. Next to them is a corpse cart. Next to them is a unit of skeletons with hand weapon shield. Next to them is another unit of skeletons with hand weapon shield. And inside that unit up front are 3 Banshees, a unit champion, a Vampire, and a level 2, I think, Necromancer. In the front of the picture there, closest to you, I guess, those are 2 units of Direwolves and a unit of Hex Rays. And here's his left flank, which consists of a unit of Black Knights, a unit, or maybe they're Blood Knights. Honestly, I can't remember. They're Knights, I know that. A Terrorgeist, and a Coven Throne with his General on it. I think it's a Coven Throne. Yeah, it's a Coven Throne. It's not a Mortis Engine. It's the one with all the vampires on it. And here's my right flank, which consists of my Chariots and my Casket of Souls. Here's my center, which consists of, on the right there, Nad the Protector, my Colossus, there's I'm sorry, Nad the Protector is the Titan and he's on the left. Ah, even I get them confused. They all look alike. On the right there is my Colossus. On the left there is my Higher Titan Nad, and then of course is my Catapult, which is awesome. And here's my left flank, which consists of my snakes, my skeletons with Tomb King and Necrotech, and behind them are my unit of archers with my high and low level priest in there. Well, here's top one after movement, and I got to go first. Very exciting. I love going first. Absolutely love going first. But as you can see, for the most part, I mean, I'm playing Tomb Kings, and this is not with the Undead Legion rules. We're still kind of playing with the usual rules. Before you ask a million questions, yes, we're going to be playing with Undead Legion rules come October is what we're talking. There's a campaign that's coming out. It's going to be smaller, 1,000 point. I don't know if we're going to escalate or not yet. I really haven't gotten all the details yet. But yes, well, then we'll play Undead Legions. I probably won't deviate too much from the Tomb Kings. I'm thinking about taking a little level 2 wizard, though, to maybe, raise me up some more gas or something like that. That would kind of be fun. But anyway, I don't move. There's absolutely no reason for me to move at all. My snakes readjust slightly. My skeleton warriors move over a little bit, so my level 2 has line of sight. And that's really it. There's no reason for me to move otherwise. My magic phase is amazing because the first thing I do is I use Shem's Burning Gaze off of my Titan, and yeah, I obliterate the Hex Rays. So that was a really big deal because I've only got one magical attack in this group, and that's my sort of anti-hero's Tomb King, and I could guarantee that those Hex Rays weren't going to charge there. But it felt good to take care of that threat. Then over here in the shooting phase, the catapult is right on target. Direct hits the Terrorgeist and puts 4 flaming wounds on him. Doesn't kill him, but it makes his scream a lot less dangerous. So we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement because there was no combat or anything like that. I know, it's weird. And he moves up considerably. His Terrorgeist comes flying up because he's going to scream at my chair. Well, he's going to try. He turned out to be just a little shy. He was like 9 inches away. His wolves move up, daring my chariots to charge. I thought about it, I won't lie. The other unit of dogs just kind of hang tight. I don't know what he was planning with them. His Black Knights or his Blood Knights, whichever they are, they come tearing through the forest, heading towards my chariots. They want to take out the damn casket before it's too late. His general follows behind them, probably just kind of clean up whatever happens. And the rest of his army kind of hangs back. All the infantry, they don't really move. Or maybe they move so slightly, just a little bit because, his general wasn't near him. But they don't move a whole heck of a lot. So I wasn't too concerned about them. I was going to honestly just kind of ignore them until I dealt with all the mobile threats. During his magic phase, he gets Ray's dead off, and he gets his little glow-in-the-dark zombies up, and yeah, I was fine with that. The zombies didn't bother me because the way I saw it, they were hampering his real units from getting into combat with me or being able to use the Banshee Scream or anything like that, so really worked out nice. I was like, yeah, raise them, have fun, I don't care. Unfortunately, he also gets another spell off, and he's able to heal a couple of wounds off of his Terrorgeist after all is said and done, which is a little bit of a shame. I put a lot of work into killing or putting those wounds on there, but I had another magic phase and shooting phase coming up, so I was kind of looking forward to that. So we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and that's when I see an idea. My skeleton, my Colossus, there's no reason for him to not charge into the flank of those dogs and murder them. My chariots just completely reform in place to face the Terrorgeist because I've got 6 strength 3 flaming shots coming at him from my chariots, So I was like, why not? I'll give it a shot. Maybe I can plink him away if magic fails me. My Titan moves down and away a little bit so that he has line of sight to the Terrorgeist, which is my next target I've got to kill before it gets a hold of me. And so my level 2 Lich Priest and my Hydro Titan move into position so that they can both see the Terrorgeist and use Shem's Burning Gaze on it. As you can see, my little level 2 has left the unit and jumped up on the hill there. Other than that, like I said, things just kind of start turning around. My Skeleton Warriors come up a little bit. I mean, I can't march or anything like that, so I only move like 4 inches. But the idea here is just start to tilt them around, just get into this combat, just in case things go left field in the right flank. The snakes move up slightly, or just kind of shimmy over a little bit so that the Skeleton Wars had a better way of moving. And other than that, everything pretty much stays where it's at. The casket shifts around a little bit, just, in case I get lucky in a magic phase. There's a better picture of my Colossus slamming into the dire wolves, and that was just going to be fun. During the magic phase, Laser Eyes, Shem's Burning Gaze. God, I love that spell. Blows away. I like throw 4 dice at just getting the little what's it called? The Titan's bounce spell at it, and it goes off. And I do 2d6. I did like 10 or 11 strength 4 hits of this thing. I rolled like 4 6s and obliterate the Terrorgeist, which was awesome. Laser Eyes. And then, not to be outdone, my little level 2 priest throws 4 more dice at Shem's Burning Gaze, the boosted version, on his what's it face? Either the Black Knights or the Blood Knights. I can't remember what they were. His Knight unit though, but it's strength 6, 2d6 strength 6, and obliterated them too. Killed every last one. So 2 big dangerous units dealt with in my magic phase. I was thrilled. Then over here, I just kind of fired into his unit of skeletons with all the Banshees in it. The idea was to try to put the template over the Banshee's head and hope that 1 or 2 of them failed their lookout, sir. It was the idea. None of them failed because none of them had to take the test because I deviated into the middle of the unit. Well, not into the back of the unit. I only hit like 4 of them. I think 2 or 3 die. It's not a huge big deal, but hey, I killed a handful of skeletons, and that felt good. Then over here in combat, the dogs die right there. All of them. I know, it was a shock. It was a shock. But yeah, they died, and that was great. So, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and his unit of direwolves, his last one, charges the Titan and makes it. So they're in the flank of my Titan, which might have been a big deal, but I figured with his 3 attacks and Thunderstomp, I should be able to do 2 wounds, and I did not believe that the dogs were going to be able to put a wound on the Titan. If it did, then hey, more power to him. He earned it, but I knew the Titan wasn't going to explode, so it was like, okay, that's fine. The direwolves go in, the direwolves go in. Other than that, his general, now, that the Hex Rays, now basically both units of direwolves, the Knights, and the Terrorgeist are all dead. I think it kind of put him on the back foot, and he moved his Coven Throne back over near where the skeletons were and everything like that, which was fine with me. It gives me more time to magic and shoot, which is what this army does. That's the way I designed this army. I need time to shoot and magic and buff and stuff like that. If my magic phase is bad, I'm going to have a bad game. There's a better picture of his dogs committing suicide against Nad the Protector. Nothing happens in his magic phase, and he doesn't shoot, so we go into combat. And actually, it wasn't a suicide run. The dogs charge, and they don't do anything to me with charge and a flank, and I was able to do only 2 wounds. Nad slipped up a little bit. I was only able to kill 2. It was a stalemate, and then I turned around to face him, just take the flank away from him. But well played by my opponent. Well played. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and again, I'm not really moving a whole lot. My stalkers come into the fight because on turn 2 I forgot to roll for them, plain simple and to the point. I tried to have my stalkers kind of go behind, in between the Coven Throne and his corpse cart in the back there. I scattered like 8 to 10 inches. I can't remember. I think I scattered into the forest right where I'm at, and I was like, oh no, I'm right in front of the big Vampire Lord chariot. So, oh well. They stood there, and they were just going to, Care Bear stare into the friggin' Coven Throne and hope for the best. Other than that, everything just kind of stayed still. I thought about charging into the flank of the dogs just to ensure that my Hyro Titan didn't die, but then I thought, what's the point? I'm not really moving. I'm not really trying to get anywhere. I've already got the points that I need. I'm about to lose my stalkers, but it's going to possibly put his Coven Throne closer to me so I can shoot at him. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I decided to just stay put. During the shooting, nothing happens in my magic phase at all. Everything is either dispelled or I think I get like the 5 upward save off, and that's it. But in my shooting phase, the stalkers do their Care Bear stare into the Coven Throne and put 4 wounds on the Coven Throne. I think I needed 6s to wound this guy too. I was rolling I was on fire with my rolls. And his little vampire lord takes one as well, which I felt pretty good about. I won't lie to you. So 4 on the chariot, 1 on the vampire lord himself. That was a good round of shooting. Unfortunately, that's the only round of shooting they're going to get because it's going to charge me next turn and explode that poor unit. But I still love that unit. Very useful. In the shooting phase, I try to drop another rock on the Coven Throne. Unfortunately, I misfire 4, which isn't the worst that it could have been. It could have exploded, but instead it's just it couldn't shoot this turn. I guess somebody forgot to pull the pin on the grenade or something. I don't know. Then in combat over here, my Hydro Titan's able to finish off the last 3 dogs. He takes no damage for his trouble, and he turns to face the rest of the vampire accounts because there's still plenty of killing to do. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and my opponent starts coming forward. The 2 units of skeletons and the ghouls move up, the corpse cart moves up, and even the little glow-in-the-dark zombies come up. Meanwhile, his general busies himself by charging my stalkers, which breaks my heart. There's a better picture of his Coven Throne slamming into my stalkers, and we know they're dead. During the magic phase, he got more zombies up, which, once again, I was perfectly fine with. The way I see it is it's an easier way to charge these things and hopefully overrun into, you know, something important with maybe my chariots or whatever. It was stopping him from charging me, too, which I thought was really important. Then he got, what was it, Invocation off, the big one. I think 12, 18 inches, something like that. And he put zombies everywhere. Bunch of skeletons get raised up. You know, everything's better. I think his Coven Throne is mainly healed now. So, yeah, no, maybe I shouldn't let that one get off. But I think he rolled higher than I did. In fact, I'm almost positive he did. So, it is what it is. Then during the shooting phase, his Banshee that can see rolls like boxcars, obliterates 2 stalkers and puts a wound on one. Yeah, 7 wounds on these guys. And then we go into combat, and impact hits alone are able to put the last 2 wounds through on the stalkers and kill them. So they unfortunately had a very short afterlife, but at least they're resting now, and that's good. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and I decide that Coven Throne has to die. My chariot slam into the zombies with the sole intent of obliterating the zombies and then overrunning into the chariot, hoping that the impact hits are enough to finish at least the Coven Throne off. That was the hope. I did try to send the Colossus in there as well. Unfortunately, his legs don't work as good as I'd like, and he failed his charge. Everything else just kind of postured. I was getting ready for the inevitable. Now, again, I know that the chariots weren't going to do enough to just take out the Coven Throne all by themselves, so I was going to shoot at it with Shem's Burning Gaze. I was going to use the catapult on it. Just going to try to take it out the best I could, or at least put a bunch of wounds on it so that when the chariots do hit, you know, hopefully the impact hits. 3d6 strength 4 flaming would be enough to take the thing out. There's a better picture of my chariot slamming into the zombies. And don't let me lie to you. Slamming 3 chariots into a bunch of zombies does my heart good. I'm not going to lie to you. I was really looking forward to that. And there's a better picture of my Colossus going, I'm tired. I just want to watch. During the magic phase, I get Shem's Burning Gaze off with the Hydro Titan on the Coven Throne. And it's glorious. I roll like 9 or 10 hits, and I obliterate the Coven Throne. I don't do anything to the vampire. I tried, but he was fine. But the Coven Throne gets blown out from underneath him, and then I use the upgraded one on the Lich Priest, the higher level 2d6 strength 6 shots of Shem's Burning Gaze into the Vampire Lord, and plink him off the table. Gods, do I love Shem's Burning Gaze. At the end of my magic phase, here's what the situation looked like. His ghouls went down a little bit. I think the skeletons were mostly okay. His corpse card evaporated. A handful of zombies. He rolled really well, actually, for his crumble checks, other than the corpse card and the ghouls. But the zombies, they took a little bit of damage, not a ton. But all in all, you know, it worked out. It's less undead on the table, so that was a good thing. Then over here, combat goes flawless. I destroy every single zombie with crumbles and everything. I overrun, hit the forest, and fail 2 dangerous terrain checks, destroying 2 out of 3 chariots, which sucks. I ran because I wanted to stay out of the. I wanted to try to get out of the charge arc of the Banshee unit with all the skeletons. I didn't want to give up those points, but it turns out I didn't roll very high, or it didn't roll high enough as it is. And yeah, those Banshees are going to have easy charge into the one remaining chariot that's left, if you can believe it. Oh, it's good to know that my Warriors of Chaos luck in the forests with chariots stuck with me into the Tomb Kings. That's awesome. So, with all the disappointment over, we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement. And, of course, the Banshee unit with all the Vampire, Necromancer, basically all his remaining characters and his skeletons slam into the flank of my one remaining chariot that dodged the tree. His unit of zombies charges into my Colossus, which I think was just a delaying tactic, which is fine. That'll work just fine. And the other unit of skeletons and the ghouls move up just enough. And in my opinion, I think my opponent was just kind of done at this point, wanted the game to be over, because he gave me the ghouls' flanks with the snakes, which you just don't do. But like I said, I think he was just kind of like, okay, I know what I have to do to fix this list. I want this to be over, which I can respect. I've been there. There's a better picture of his big bad unit with all of his characters slamming into the chariot, and we know what's going to happen there. And here's a better picture of his zombies slamming into my Colossus, and well, we kind of know what's going to happen there. Nothing happens in his magic phase. His shooting phase is effective because the Banshees scream at the chariot and explode it. And then they turn around in his combat phase to face. And believe it or not, I know what you're going to say. What? He can't do that? It's in the FAQ. If a unit that you're in close combat with is eradicated, disappeared, removed from the table for any reason before the combat phase, during the combat phase, you can reform them. In the FAQ, it was a shock to me too. But it's legal. So here we go. I didn't get a picture of the Colossus with the zombies because I forgot. But as you can see from here we are, top of 5. A lot of zombies died. And the Colossus is still in combat, but he's fine. But in the beginning of turn 5, I decided, screw it. I'm going to try to take this band-aid off. And I charge with the snakes into the ghouls, and I make it. And then my Skeleton Warriors try to charge into his Skeleton Warriors with just the intent of getting into combat. You know, it's top of 5. I need to make my move. Things are going so well for me as it is. There's no reason not to. So I tried to charge, and they failed, which is fine. I think I needed a 10 to hit them. So it was just a whatever, and it didn't work out. But it would have been cool if it did. So, yep, other than that, everything else just kind of stayed where it was. Well, that's not true. The archers with my level 4 moved up. My level 2 scooted around just in case. And everything else was pretty much right where it's at. There's a better picture of my snakes! Slamming into the ghouls, and I was very excited about that because the hope was the ghouls would get obliterated and I'd be able to overrun into the skeletons, holding him there, hopefully long enough to, you know, let the Tomb King and his unit of skeletons slam into them and finish them off, because points is points. And there's a better picture of my skeleton. Well, I shouldn't say better picture. It's pretty blurry. Sorry about that. But yeah, there's a better picture of my Skeleton Warriors with Tomb King and Necrotech trying to charge the other Skeleton Warriors and failing because they're like tired. My magic phase doesn't really do anything. I don't recall if I cast anything. I think I was scared of misfire or miscasting for no reason. So I think I might have skipped my magic phase, or my opponent just stopped it. One of the two. But nothing happened in my magic phase. So we go into shooting, and once again I put the catapults thing right on. If you recall, there was a pink painted Banshee in there, semi-painted Banshee in that unit, and I put the template right on top of her head, and the one that was underneath it direct hits. And the one that was directly under the hole failed her Lookout Sir roll. So I was able to obliterate a Banshee, which brought the Necromancer into the front rank. I was able to kill a handful of skeletons, not many. Everything else made its Lookout Sir check. So yeah, I was able to kill a character and get a handful of skeletons. I'll take it. And then, of course, my Colossus was able to easily finish off the rest of the zombies, which felt pretty good. And then over here, my snakes obliterated the ghouls, took no damage for their trouble, and overran easily into the Skeleton Warriors, which was awesome. I love the fact that I got into the flank. Due to a few time constraints and the fact that I'm semi-forgettable, I didn't get a picture of, what is this, bottom of 5 after movement. I apologize. But here's a better picture of my opponent's unit of characters with Skeleton Warriors attached, charging my Colossus and failing, which was a good thing because I really didn't know if I wanted that combat yet. During the shooting phase, the Banshees scream at the Colossus and do 1 point of damage to him, which is, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. And then over here in combat, my snakes just decimate these skeleton warriors. As you can see, after crumble checks and everything like that, there's like 10, not even 10 remaining. I can't remember. All the ones that are knocked over are dead. So yeah, it was brutal. But they do survive. He does try to turn to face, but he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't steadfast or anything like that. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, it didn't work out at all. So we go over here to top of 6 after movement, and I figure screw it, it's top of 6, everything's gone my way anyway, so I'm going to charge a Colossus in and try to get a few more points. I couldn't do anything to the Banshees, but I could sure as hell try to take out the Necromancer, and then if he's still alive for another round of combat, the Vampire. Plus, I kind of wanted to see what he had, so I said screw it, I'm going to go for it. Other than that, what's it called? My skeleton warriors with my Tomb King and everything just kind of reformed because there was no way they were making that charge. There was no need to. They just kind of reformed so that the Tomb King is within 12 inches of the Colossus just in case. The the Hierophant tries to move or moves up so he's within 12 inches of the Colossus, so I can try to buff him. The level 2 does the same. The Titan backs up slightly, and everything else prepares to watch and see what happens. Here's a better picture of my Colossus slamming into the unit of skeletons, and that was just, I wanted to see what would happen. During the magic phase, I get Briona's Time Warp and 5-up board save off on my Colossus, healing the 1 wound he had on him, and giving him a fighting chance. And then over here in combat, yeah, my snakes are able to finish off the rest of the skeletons. Unfortunately, it wasn't a turn that they overran, so they couldn't overrun again and try to help out the Colossus. But I got the unit of skeletons, and so that was more points. I felt pretty good about that. And then over here in combat, while my Colossus does not do great with his hand-to-hand attacks, I actually only hit once, and then the one that I get the extra attack for, I roll a 1 to wound. So that was just unfortunate. Luckily for me, my opponent's attacks were just as bad, or I made my ward save. And Thunderstomp in the end, I ended up losing this combat by 1, but I'm an Arcane Construct, so who cares? And I survived to go to bottom of 6. And yeah, there's no movement because everything he has is in combat. So we go straight into combat, and I'm able to finish off the Necromancer. He's able to, and then I'm able to, he's able to put 2 wounds through on the Colossus. With Thunderstomp, I'm able to kill quite a decent amount of these guys. Actually, it was quite nice. And yeah, in the end, I think I win this combat. I think 2 or 3 more skeletons fall apart, and that's the end of the game right there. Maybe during his magic phase he was able to raise some skeletons. I don't remember. Yeah, or he was able to raise some zombies, but I think he either didn't realize it was bottom of 6 or was just fucking around having a good time. So what can you do? You know, you ain't gonna fault the guy for having a good time. So there's some glow-in-the-dark zombies on there. That's awesome. And but yeah, as you can see, once again, my Tomb Kings do pretty well. Now I say that, but my opponent's dice couldn't have been more against him if they tried. I felt bad. I felt bad for him because, yeah, like I think a couple of his magic phases were like 3. It was really bad. But I still feel good about it. This guy's a very experienced player. He's a very good player. And the vampires are new to him, and I have no doubt as he gets more practice with them, he's going to just be wiping wiping the floor with me. We'll put it that way. But you know what? We'll get to the recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Banners, banners, banners. Get you some banners. Look at the banners. You are never going to be able to get better banners than this. There is no company, there is no talent scout, there is no entity on the planet that's going to get you banners better than this. Custom banners for your custom army. You want better paint scores. You want that little edge that makes your army better than the guy next to you. Sick of running, going to tournaments and getting that paint score that's just a few points lower than the guy that literally sneezes on his army, and you can't figure out why? Get these banners and make your army really pop, really stand out. Send this guy an email, tell him what you want, and get yourself some banners. It's totally worth it. Hey guys, I know I've already talked to you about this before, but you should really check these pictures out because they were all painted, including my model, by Unleashed Wargaming. And they have their email right up there at the top of the page, and they've also got it down there. They got a YouTube channel. He's working on a website. It's not quite ready yet, but yeah, really, if you get a chance, check these guys out. If you're looking for someone to paint your stuff real good, seriously, check these guys out. Go to his, send him an email, check out his YouTube page. It's really worth your time. It's a phenomenal job. It's quick, it's painless. You don't have to worry about painting your stuff. And soon I'll be running a model that these guys painted for me, and I'm very excited about that. But check out these pictures. Give this guy an email. Check him out on YouTube. Get your models painted by him if you can. It's totally worth it. And tell him Tremendous sent you. But yes, once again, I am actually able to win with the quote-unquote weakest army in Warhammer. So yeah, I must be a tactical genius. No, I'm not. Luck and my opponent's inexperience against Tomb Kings, I think, has a lot to do with it. And I'll take it, don't get me wrong. Better lucky than good any day. But I ended up losing my chariots and my stalkers. The chariots mostly because of the forest, my stalkers mostly because of the vampire lord and the coven throne and the banshee screaming. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. The vampire accounts basically lost their general, the coven, the skeleton unit, ghouls, corpse cart. I think they were the blood knights, terrorgeist, banshee, one banshee, a necromancer, both units of direwolves, and his hex race. One of my opponent's first games with VC in the recent, since he's been playing recently, he told me to come at him though, so I did. You know, I aimed to please. His dice were awful, just literally awful. They couldn't have been more against him if I was rolling them, but if I was rolling them, they probably wouldn't. Anyway, you get my point. We've all been there. Shem's Burning Gaze. Oh my god, it is my new favorite spell. Laser eyes, especially against anything undead or demonic. It's just devastating to them. Flaming, so much pain, and the visual. You know, the fact that my Lich and my Hydro Titan are just eyeballing you to death. I love that. That catapult is really amazing too. That thing has been on point. I know in my next game it's going to explode on me, like top of turn one, and I'm not even going to shoot it. It's just going to, for some reason, spontaneously combust. But you know what? I'm going to ride this gravy train as long as I can because I enjoy it. And my snakes. Oh, the snakes! Those guys are devastating. It helps, I'm sure, that they hit the flank of both units they got into combat with, but man, they hit like a friggin' freight train, and that was outstanding. Hitting the ghouls, overrunning into the skeletons, and destroying the entire unit in 2 rounds of combat was just beautiful. Just beautiful. And even my Colossus got his hands dirty a little bit, taking out the dogs, failing a charge, whatever. And then getting into the unit of skeletons, taking out a necromancer, and winning the combats. Yeah, that guy is devastating against the right infantry. So very interested to see how he progresses throughout my games. Probably going to just become a big bolt thrower, bullseye. But until then, he's still kind of cool. But it was a damn fun game, damn good opponent, and I'm looking forward to the rematch because just really, really still enjoying the Tomb Kings. I'm actually really looking forward to getting games in with them and stuff like that. So, yeah, don't expect them to go anywhere anytime soon. But, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report number 156, how far we've come. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below. But, yeah, guys, thanks.